Hey everybody, Cardon here for Problem Solver Politics, and we have to talk about Andrew Yang's last Instagram post. Before we get started here, these thoughts are mine and mine alone. Cody the Oracle is not present and has not vetted any of these. So these opinions are of me, myself, and I, and only his. However, Andrew Yang's last Instagram post to me was just demonstrative of. We'll just dive right in. We won't say what it's demonstrative of. Let's actually just dive right in. So if we go to the Magical Book of Faces, Instagram, here we see Andrew Yang's profile, blue check mark and everything, and boom, he's reposting our good friend Ezra Klein, and I'm actually going to make this look a little bit better here so you can see what it says. But he asks, am I in the Yang gang now? Announcing that he's going to be on the next episode. Okay, that's all hunky-dory, all right? Well, the only problem is, if we actually look a little bit closer here, Andrew Yang says, Thursday on yangspeaks.com, my convo with Ezra Klein about what the Great Rebuild requires of us. Okay. We need to talk about this. The Great Rebuild. The Great Rebuild. This isn't going to be some Alex Jones midnight rant about globalism and the Great Rebuild. This is going to be about Andrew Yang. And I have a deep-rooted concern. And I see that it's actually followed in the comments here. I mean, when you look at these comments, literally, look at the first one right here. Yang sold out by Evan Brutus. All right. Nicholas Keebs. Vox is the Breitbart of the left. Modern Man saying, ask him if he really thinks Vox is impartial. And if you really want to laugh, ask if he considers Vox a news source. Okay. It's not a good sign when you get this ratioed. And I actually have a really good idea of why I think this is being so ill received. And it's something I've been saying and been fearing about Andrew Yang for a while. And it's hard, Andrew, to say you're not selling out and just becoming another pseudo-progressive pawn of the Democrat establishment left that used to malign you and used to call you John Yang and used to not give you airtime or let surrogates of your campaign go on air for you and used to do all this crap to you that you used to beat up against, okay? They used to vow, not revenge against, but it's hard for us not to say Andrew Yang sold out and agree with comments like this one on the Instagram post. When you're inviting Ezra Klein on the show and saying phrases like, what does the Great Rebuild require of us? I mean, honestly, that sounds like a pagan, literally just like worshiping a golden calf or a deity. Like, what does Zeus require of us? You know, I mean, the Great Rebuild is not a god. It is at best a bad idea. And just to prove it here, I'm going to go just incognito on Google. And I'm going to ask, what is the Great Rebuild? I'm sure it's going to be, a Vox article is the very first thing that comes up. So here, why don't we actually just read this Vox article as to what this awesome honky-dory Great Rebuild is. And here we go. Vox.com is going to illuminate us as to what the Great Rebuild is. So, here's the Great Rebuild. And it says, coronavirus has laid bare, which I think is actually a fair terminology, okay? Coronavirus has laid bare. Let me continue here. Sorry. Coronavirus has laid bare the flaws in our economy. Can we remake it to be more inclusive of all Americans? Okay, that's cool. The COVID-19 epidemic is a tragedy, massive policy failure, and an existential threat to the livelihood and health of millions of Americans, with the pain disproportionately falling upon Black Americans. Okay, cool. So once again, this literally sounds like it could be a blog post for BLM, but fine. Okay, like nobody else suffers out there. All right. But a problem this big demands a bold solution. without reading this article, I know it's basically just going to be nationalization or socialization of the economy because this is Vox. Okay, and what does it say? Social impact venture. Oh, here we are, Andrew Yang on 2020 UBI and fixing the government. I'm sorry. UBI was not about socializing America. You yourself said, Andrew Yang, it's capitalism that starts at 1,000 instead of at 0. Yet now here you are literally being the poster boy, all right, for the great rebuild. Kind of sounds like, I don't know, the great step forward. Was that what Mao Zedong called it? I can't remember. But this is not good, Andrew Yang. Promising ending child poverty in America. What would Keynes do? Keynes is literally the failed economist of the left. Like he's you might as well quote Blumenbach and race theory of the 18th century if you're going to quote Keynes. Okay, Keynesian economics is literally economic flat eartherism. Okay, so we keep going here. Actually, let's not even keep going. Links in the description. Or actually, I don't even have to put it in the description. This is Vox here. Just Google the Great Rebuild. This is literally just the new phrase that the left has thrown together to try and put lipstick on the pig of failed collectivism of the 19th century. They tried it with the Green New Deal. They tried remarketing, nationalizing economies, and just, doing the same neoliberal crap we've done before. They tried rebranding everything that you on the campaign trail, Andrew Yang, said you didn't stand for. Okay? And you yourself used to always have, and Andrew Yang and Yang Gang, I want you to hear this. We all were born and bred in the Yang Gang saying phrases like, it's not left, it's not right, it's forward. Okay? You can't be a humanity-focused venture, a humanity-first venture, and say it's not left, it's not right, it's forward, and then only adopt left positions. What made you cool as a candidate, Andrew Yang, was that you actually had the good aspects of the left and the good aspects of the right. Fine. Well, that's cool, Now you can make that argument that you're going forward. But when you're only endorsing Democrats in your Humanity Forward organization, doesn't seem bipartisan anymore. When you're inviting guys like Ezra Klein on, who honestly, I call them coffee house academics, because really they're just guys that know they couldn't make it in the world doing anything other than just using big words to make themselves and sound intelligent. Here's a perfect example. Actually, look, I just pulled up Ezra Klein. Let's click on his Twitter. What's the very first thing he sees? He says, most recent post, 17 hours ago. Look at this. There's Andrew Yang right there on the cover. Says there's nothing in the Constitution about a filibuster. It is just some weird, arcane, esoteric Senate rule that took on a life of its own. And so if you're willing to put that rule above getting stuff done, then what are you doing? There's nothing in the Constitution about a filibuster. It's just some weird, arcane, esoteric Senate rule. So here's Ezra Klein. Just watch him. If you want to see this kind of thing where you just say weird, arcane, and esoteric just to make your argument seem a little bit more robust, falls apart when there's other smart people in the room. Watch Ezra Klein get, watch Sam Harris mop the floor with Ezra Klein. Google Ben Shapiro and Ezra Klein and see what happens when two guys both sit there crossing their legs trying to use big words. I mean, it's pathetic, and it makes you realize how really, really narcissistic academics have become. And if you want to see the arrogance of man, just look at modern academia, thinking that they can literally get rid of one of the most unique and beautiful traditions and last-ditch efforts of stopping insanity, okay, that makes America unique, they think they can just get rid of it by calling it weird, arcane, and esoteric. Sorry, Ezra Klein, I can use big words too. It doesn't make you any smarter, okay? In fact, a guy a lot smarter than you, Albert Einstein, used to say that if you can't explain it to an 8-year-old, then you don't understand it yourself. So I don't think if you can explain to me why the filibuster, which was the main scene in Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, okay? Literally, like, probably the biggest Hollywood movie about the truth of the American system that we've had in 100 years is literally about the filibuster, okay? And sure, there were times where the filibuster was used to stop good things going forward, like when Democrats filibustered the very first Civil Rights Act of 1957. Yeah, you're right. But there's been plenty of other times where it's been used for great causes. Don't forget, it was Rand Paul who filibustered against Barack Obama's extrajudicial killings of U.S. citizens. Literally, it was a filibuster by Rand Paul that forced the Obama administration to reconsider dropping bombs on U.S. citizens overseas with no trial. You cannot be a liberal and not see the importance of Rand Paul filibustering and asking the White House, what are the protocols for us simply drone striking? You know those drone strikes that happened every 20 minutes on average for 8 years that Obama was in the White House? You know those drone strikes that were breeding more terrorists who hated us every day and ultimately killing innocent bystanders? Oh yeah, and killing U.S. citizens who had not even received a trial for their offenses? You remember all those drone strikes that we were angry on the left for 8 years. It was a filibuster, Ezra Klein, that not stopped that, but did the closest thing to stopping it that we can have. So look, I get you got to sit down sometimes with undesirable people. And I'm not the person here who's going to say that, you know, Trump shouldn't have sat down with North Korea, or that, you know, you don't negotiate with what some would consider bad actors, okay? But at the end of the day, Andrew Yang, man, it's getting really hard for us not to say that you sold out when this is what you're putting forward on the Humanity Forward podcast. So I'll listen to it. We all know what Ezra Klein's going to say, okay? He's just going to say we need socialism. There's no other answer to any other bad problem out there. And if you don't agree with him, you're racist and, you know, outdated and so on and so forth. And that's what we're going to get. But from you, Andrew Yang, we put a lot of faith in you, a lot of money into you, a lot of time and a lot of energy. We expect more from you, man. If you're a not left, not right, but forward kind of guy, we need you to start acting not left, not right, not forward. Because at the end of the day, this whole idea of you being a DNC player, that's naive. These people view you as a pawn in their chess set, not as a player in the game. These people are the same people that used you and maligned you. Thinking that they're going to like you now is like being that goofy dude in The Mummy. You know, there's movie characters that always end up siding with the bad guy, and in the end it nips him in the butt. And I don't think that's a good idea. So much love for the Yang Gang. Much love for UBI. Much love for Andrew Yang. Not a lot of love for a lot of the, at best, poor decisions I've seen made recently. Once again, these thoughts are mine and mine alone. If you would like to opine in the comments, I fully welcome your comments. Leave the comments below. I'll do my best to respond in a timely manner. Let us know what you guys think. It's Problem Solver Politics. We'll We'll see you guys in the next video.